Catholic Youth Ministers, welcome. So great that you're here today. My name is Joe Rouchet, and I want to welcome you to a special edition on Lake Nokomis in Minneapolis, Minnesota, my YouTube channel, Catholic Youth Ministry Matters. Hi everyone, Joe back here with you. We are continuing a video series with my good friend Will Murley here. This is video number 3, episode number 3. Will has in his first year of Catholic Youth Ministry and is sharing with us all that he's learning, the rewards, the challenges, and just things that are so important to know as a youth minister. And I've just been really impressed with what he's learned and how quickly he's learned it. It took me so long to learn some of these things. So Will, without further ado, I'm just going to turn it over to you and just share with the folks, what do you know? What have you learned? What do you see happening out there?
Yeah, of course. And thanks again, Joe, for having me. Appreciate it. Something that I really want to share is, so psychologically speaking, we're gonna get a little deep into psychology here. The biggest difference between men and women is that men tend to be more interested in things and women more interested in people. And you see this, for example, the engineering, like those sorts of fields tend to be dominated by men, and that's like as a psychological preference because guys are more like, they like things, and then women, like there's more nurses, and that's often because of personality, because they like relationships and people. Like it said that women bond face to face and guys side by side.
Oh, good.
And that's really important to know when it comes to ministry. So when it comes to, let's say, a youth night or whatever's going on with your parish and there's youth there, it's important to have things available for people of varying personalities, because you'll still get men who are like more into like relationships and that sort of thing, like as opposed to things. But still, it's like if you're having a youth event and people are just talking and that's it, it's like guys aren't gonna often get too much out of that because they bond side by side. Okay. But it's just something, even something small as like a ping pong table can just bring this like element of thing to your youth group, and they bond with it. Like you'll see them get really excited like over that, whether they're like goofing around or whether they're like really into the game. Like there's a thing that they can sort of like bond around, and they're relating around this thing. And like that's so important to know when it comes to like your audience, and also your youth, let's say. And then like given that reality, like there's also like the extrovert introvert spectrum, which I think is really important to take notice. And like you need to keep an eye on your introverts and like gauge how they're doing, because if they're checking out, like that's not a great thing, especially because probably half of people are introverts. I don't know, but it's a big chunk of them. So you want to make sure that like they are present, and a good way to do that is through things, because they're going to feel more comfortable bonding around a board game or playing cards or something like that than having to just stand alone with people that they've never met before. Like it's really uncomfortable, and as someone who's more introverted myself, it's just like, why am I here? Like I don't want to do this. But you give me a ping pong paddle and like bam, like we're going. Like there's something to bond around, which is so good.
I remember 9 Square. What was that basketball game at the NET Center where you try to shoot the hoop before the person behind you? Lightning.
There's a bunch of names based on where you're from in the country, but knockout is what they call it in Florida.
Knockout. So I hear you. Especially these guys love activity, I think, for the most part. I'm even amazed. I was a Cub Scout a long time ago, but that game, Snatch the Bacon, I don't know if it's still got the same name. Everybody seems to love that, but I like that, Will. I like engaging, especially the introverts, because those are the folks that my experience has been, they're good leaders. A number of my leaders were the ones that were back in the back at youth nights, and I just approached them and just to bring them in, and come to find out they're pretty deep in their thinking. They're not so much into the games and whatnot. They're there for content. They're there for a purpose. So there's all kinds of reasons to pull them in. But it's about building community, and it does take a couple of different dynamics to make all that happen. It's a lot going on behind the eyeballs of youth ministry, wouldn't you say, William?
Absolutely, Joe.
Very good, very good. Well, any parting thoughts, Will? Anything else to leave the folks with?
Actually, I have one. So you'd be surprised what people are getting out of your nights, and they may never tell you, especially like people who are more introverted. I've had opportunities in ministry where I think somebody's not getting anything out of them, or so we're not getting anything. He's not getting anything out of this event, and I'm able to talk with them and get a little bit into their shell a little bit. And what I see is something that's like, wow, they are thinking so deeply about this, and I'm like, they're giving me wisdom about like the night and like whatever we talked about. So you're planting seeds and you don't even know it, and take some stock in that, take some heart in that.
Very good. Well, Will, thanks again for sharing all this knowledge, man. I tell you, you've learned a lot. I keep flashing back how long it took me to learn all this stuff, and it wasn't in 1 year. So, way to go. We'll have to have
I learned from the best, Joe.
Well, you know, I don't know about that, but as long as we learn, that's the main thing. Well, listen, that's it for this episode. Thanks again for tuning in, and I hope you found it helpful. If you would, click that like button down below, and the subscribe button, and the bell icon right next to it, so you're the first to know when I release a new video. Secondly, I would love to come to speak to your parents, your young people, your parish. Check out my website down below. It has all the details. But lastly, keep your eyes fixed. Keep up the mission, because you matter, and Catholic Youth Ministry matters. Keep up the good work.